Hi Pisces, and welcome to your September 2019 general tarot reading. So we're going to have a general look and a brief look at relationships, but the main relationship reading will be on Vimeo. So give me one additional guidance card for Pisces please for the month ahead. So you got the exchanging gifts card. This is very similar to the Six of Pentacles. One of the spiritual laws is the law of reciprocity, the law of give and take. Everything that moves can be seen to be in a state of health. Sometimes our relationships and our lives become stagnant, and it tends to be because something somewhere is not moving properly. Okay, so to break one of the spiritual laws, which is the law of reciprocity, tends to be when resentments and issues build up in relationships. Basically, it's actually quite simple. As human beings, we're meant to both give and receive in equal measures, and most relationship problems tend to happen when that law is broken. It probably is a relationship theme, but it can be a bit work. The universe doesn't put categories and things. It's us that do that. So obviously there's something to do with the law of exchange going on. Okay, so let's find out what this is about for Pisces, please. So please give me clear-cut messages for the sign for the month ahead. I'm going to shuffle one more time quickly. Cut one more time. Oh, sorry. Okay, so what's going on? Deep breath. So 10 of Cups behind you. Three of Pentacles. That's a very nice couple of combinations of cards as working as a team. The 10 of Cups and the Three of Pentacles would both represent very much you with other people. Three of Pentacles is a card of teamwork, but it's also, Pisces, we rise by raising up other people. Yeah. The 10 of Cups tends to be my cup runs over. So from that position, I can give in a very open way. But very much Three of Pentacles is about teamwork. Some of you might have had some good news coming your way. It particularly looks around the emotional sector. But don't forget, the Three of Pentacles is essentially, if we want to rise, we support others in their process. Because we're all here and there's giants behind us that have led the way to something greater, and we should always be passing that on to the best of our ability. So let's see what else is going on. What you want is the Nine of Swords. So obviously you don't want the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords is a card of fear and anxiety, grasping your heart because of fears. So obviously you want this to end, by the way. The Seven of Swords is the gift. An awful lot of swords cards going on here. So when there's a lot of swords cards, there's too much mind. But let me carry on. The challenge is the Emperor. I'll clarify loads, Pisces, don't worry. This is you maybe being, remember Pisces opposite is the sign of Virgo. So Virgo is about Mercury. It's about the mental analysis. You've got an awful lot of thinking going on. So Seven of Pentacles in your relationship. So maybe that's where there's a lot of consideration going on. Seven of Pentacles is a card of reflection. All these pentacles have grown, but she's considering, very much considering the future. And maybe this is where the Nine of Swords is coming from. Money and work, you've got the Moon card. Nine of Pentacles at a soul level. And the outcome, first of all, the Five of Cups and then the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is Taurus. It talks about an awful lot of tradition. So marriage, the establishment, the rules of society, that sort of energy. Why have you got so much thinking going on? I think you're trying to think your way through a process here. With that Seven of Pentacles, you cannot think your way to a solution, Pisces. It doesn't work that way. All you're going to do is get yourself stuck in this analysis paralysis. Why is the Seven of Swords the gift, please? One card to clarify why it's the gift. Okay. It's to do with a relationship here. I think some Pisces have got themselves a little bit stuck. But it's the gift. But look at the body language here. He's stuck between two worlds. Something is behind him. He's walking into an archway. Behind that archway is a garden. There's a field, okay? But he's just got himself stuck in the archway. But it is the gift, and it's to do with our relationship. And it's definitely to do with love. Look, you've got the Ace of Cups showing up. And having the Seven of Pentacles in the relationship. The Seven of Pentacles is a strange card because you're not waiting for anyone, because the Pentacles have already grown. But it's a very, very deep card of consideration. All the sevens are. And the sevens are classed as master cards. And the reason why they're master cards is because you've came so far. But there's a little bit of work ahead. So working through the sevens is always about a lot of reflection, a lot of consideration, but the mind will not help you in this, Pisces. All the mind is going to do is create an endless web of thinking. You need to feel your way through it. What feels right for you? Now, the gift, and what you want is a Nine of Swords, so which means, to tell you the truth, it's with the Lovers card. This is Gemini, but it's also about a relationship. So you want this. The Nine of Swords is definitely a shadow card, so is the Seven of Swords. It's everything that exists, that's sort of unspoken communication, unspoken issues, lack of clarity. It's definitely to do with a relationship, Pisces. But look what you're doing with your emotional nature. Sorry, I've been painting all day. I've got blue in my nails. You're restricting your heart and you're protecting it. And even though there's this wise owl trying to communicate to you the way forward, especially in a relationship, because it's the gift, I think I'm assuming you're going to start listening. Now the Seven of Swords with the Two of Cups. Again, this is gift energy. Tell me more here about, obviously I understand the Two of Cups and it's with the Queen of Cups, so there's an awful lot of love and there's an awful lot of emotions, but it's tied in with so much thinking. And all this is doing, Pisces, is draining your beautiful energy. When actually what you need to do is embrace a card like the Queen of Cups, which is about feelings, which is about the emotions, to guide you forward. Now the challenge is the Emperor. The Emperor is the Aries card. So this might be a person. Or again, the Emperor is a square. He's number 4, so it represents security and stability. And when it comes to your emotions, and I think it does, because the Emperor is looking right into this relationship energy, you might be the Emperor's job is to go out and make a living. When it comes to matters of the heart, he's became a little bit shut down. And that is what that 9 of Swords is about, because there's a very strong protection around the heart. This is clearly to do with a relationship theme and around opening up. For some of you, is moving on with that 7 of Swords. Might be with an Aries. If not, the challenge is opening yourself up to this relationship. Why is there so much fear for Pisces? What's going on? Why is there so much fear? Because of the Devil card. So might be a very strong attraction, but then if the Devil card is Saturn. Saturn is basically about our life discipline. It's about boundaries. It can represent fears going on. Boy. Okay, don't worry. I'm going to try and make sense of this as well in a little while. 7 of Pentacles in your relationship. So a lot of reflection, a lot of consideration about what the next step is. Essentially, that's what the 7s are about. That they all tend to be about a pause. Tell me what the 7 of Pentacles is about for Pisces. Another 7. Oh God, you've got 3 7s. I'll make sense of it in a little bit. Okay. Now the Moon showing up in your money and work. Moon's not a bad card. It can be about embracing uncertainty. It can just be a little bit in the dark, not fully sure what's coming next. Let me clarify more about this Moon in your money and work. Okay. You get the Death card, so there's some change going to the 4 of Wands, okay? So some of you are leaving something behind and going forward to a new chapter in the 4 of Wands. The 4 of Wands is a threshold card. But between the Moon and the 4 of Wands was a Death card, which means Pisces, you're in some sort of change process and transition, okay? Now where you're going is a really great place. Sometimes when the new year started, I did my yearly spread and I was totally lost, but I knew the outcome was good, and that sometimes can be your guiding light. So the 4 of Wands is about crossing a threshold into something new. Graduation, something new business, new job. The Moon came first, which means when you enter September, you might be embracing a certain amount of uncertainty or change because of the Death card, but it looks like what you're going forward to is some new beginning. So leaving something behind in order to move forward. I think if some of you are dealing with the Moon card in the way that you don't quite know where you're going, it's all going to be okay. Very funny, because Aquarius got, I think, identical cards, apart from they had the 10 of Swords in the middle. So definitely ending with new chapter. The 9 of Pentacles is going on at a soul level. The 9 of Pentacles is again a card of, she's the alone and loving it card. Someone who loves spending time in their own energy. It's the Hermit card. So there's a lot of self-reflection going on here. 1, 2, 3, 4 cards about being very much in the process of consideration. Now let me go to the outcome. First of all, the 5 of Cups. Don't worry about the 5 of Cups. It's a process card. 3 cups of spill, but these 2 cups lie behind you. And then you're going to the Hierophant. This is about it's got double meaning. It's about the laws of the land, tradition, the establishment, that sort of thing. But it's also got another meaning, which is to your own self be true. I'm thinking about Pisces reading last month, particularly around loving relationships, was so incredibly confusing. We've sort of got quite a similar reading here. Can I want to do more. Can you give me 3 cards to clarify what's going on in Pisces relationships and what's showing up here? I think some of you don't know whether to stay or to go forward. Maybe some of you are considering that there's a new relationship here, but there's still an awful lot of reflection here. For some of you, the challenge is to be true to your own heart, which is very funny because that is how I traditionally read the Hierophant, to your own self be true. And going ahead regardless of the fact that some people might be hurt in the process. Can I pick 3 cards, please, for Pisces? This is a sort of reading when I wish I knew what everyone's circumstances were. And I think I've been probably reading for a few people. Oh boy, the King and Queen of Swords with the 5 of Wands in between it. So the King and Queen of Swords is about 2 people who want the same thing. It's always the same when it's the sweet. There's some communication that needs to happen here. 2 people, some Pisces might be in a situation here where some of you are maybe trying to get out of a relationship, by the way, because the relationships became very, very, very icy with the King and Queen of Swords. It's became quite frozen, okay? But there's a head and heart position going on. There's a head and heart. Shall I, shan't I? Shall I go backward? Shall I go forward? I'm going to look at relationships anyhow. Actually, I'm going to look at relationships next. So can I clarify this reading a little bit? There's obviously some big change going on in your money and work, okay? The Moon card is about embracing uncertainty. And it takes an awful lot of courage to be in the Moon card when it comes to our finances. So obviously you're navigating some sort of change process. You then get the Death card, which means you're going through change, and then you're going to the 4 of Wands. You get the in between. So you're going from a grey world to this multicoloured world. And that's made me so happy for you, Pisces, okay? And then you're going to the milk and honey, which is absolutely beautiful. It means there's some sort of change going on in how you make a living, your financial status, that sort of thing. There's some good process going on here. At a soul position, I've got no issue. You're in your opposite sign of Virgo, which is always what you're here to what you're meant to balance out. Spending time in reflection. Anything else but this 9 of Pentacles? And the Ace of Swords is emerging from it. There's something very confusing going on in your relationships. Tell me more about what Pisces wants here. Knight of Swords, which means you want to go forward, but there's fear around it. So the fear tends to happen when we're in a four of disc situation. So maybe our financial lives have become embroiled with the other person, or for some of you there might be family involved, something like that. And it seems to be getting you stuck very much in the 7 of Swords card, which is literally a mental loop going round and round and round. That's all karma is, by the way. And the way out of it is to be honest with what you feel, which is the Queen of Cups. And then to let your heart be the guide. all our thinking does, especially the Seven of Swords, it tells us stories like, if any of you are considering leaving a situation, it would say, oh, I better wait till Christmas before I leave. Yeah, it's that sort of story that we tell ourselves. And then we stay more and more embroiled in situations we're not happy in. Can you give me an advice card for Pisces, please? The Sun, and your solar power is Pisces, which is Neptune, which is a direct conscious contact with source energy, which means you know the way forward, Pisces, and it isn't in your mind, because the whole mind is a fight or flight stimulus, that's it, which will always look after, which is very good that it looks after our safety. Sometimes. But sometimes we need to make changes. Tell me more about what the Hierophant wants, because again, separate meanings to this Hierophant. I've always read it as to your own self be true, okay? Always. But because it's with the Five of Cups, there's some sort of, for some of you, some sort of, so the Hierophant can be like the laws of religion for some, you know, the laws of the land. And with the Five of Cups, it's like, oh, give me a minute. This sense of, the Five of Cups is basically a process card. So all process cards take you from the 4 to the 6s. But they're about feeling uncomfortable and allowing yourself to be an uncomfortable process. And most people don't want to feel that, so they stay in the 4s and they choke off their energy, they choke off the source of their knowledge, and they choke off their feeling function, which does not end very well, guys. This is what the Emperor is saying. This is about a repression of the feeling function. And being a Pisces, you've got this direct contact with oneness, which means you love a part of you that always knows the way forward. It's trusting it. That's the big issue. Yeah, look, the Sun card is an advice, which is about following the impulse of spirit, which is going to be felt through your emotions. Some of you have got a situation here. Now, some of you are obviously maybe trying to get out of a situation, okay? I'm sorry if it's not for you guys. I can only work. The way I see it, as there's someone out there listening who's struggling, and if this message gets to them, then I've done my job, okay? But for some of you, there's a relationship you're in that's like ice. And I don't like to think of Pisces being in a situation like that. And the Five of Wands is the connecting card, so there's a big struggle brewing about making changes. Give me a minute. Okay, Pisces, I feel like last month's Vimeo reading, I literally think was for one person. And actually did email me, so I know someone got it. What's going on in Pisces relationships, please? Oh my gosh, the cards are just going crazy. The longer reading will be in Vimeo, guys, okay? Because I need to be fair to all the signs. But I'll try and get some sort of message to, because not everyone can get the Vimeo ones. The Moon again. You're the Four of Cups. They're the Six of Cups. Why is Pisces the Four of Cups? Okay, there's some relationship here again. But the Four of Cups is about inertia. You see this cup, but no one's... It's like you're in a four. You know what? Some of you have definitely got the potential of a new relationship here, but because you're in a four and you haven't spilt over those cups yet, you're not quite able to go forward. Some of you are just... When we become inert, a lot of humanity is under the spell of inertia. That's why we're in so much shit at the moment, basically. You're putting off dealing with something. Sorry for I swore there. Sorry. The other person's the Six of Cups and the Queen of Cups. So there's a lot of emotions coming your way, and desire for reconciliation, to reconnect. What's the Moon about? The Moon's about uncertainty and change, and it's with the Three of Swords. So yeah, there's some of you who's in a three-way situation. You're separate from someone. There's something's happened in this relationship. The other person looks very, very willing to extend themselves, but look at you with this Four of Cups, not moving an inch. And the Moon with the Three of Swords can be about dealing with a lot of unconscious fears, and maybe that's why some of you are putting off making changes that have to be made. All right, I'm going to go and finish this on Vimeo. Actually, I'm going to ask for an advice card for you. One advice card, please. Okay, you keep getting the King of Wands, which is about taking command of your life. Taking control of the wand is taking control of where do you want to live? Where do you want to be? Your passion. Where's your enthusiasm? It's almost like I want to get you standing up, Pisces, as this King of Wands, looking at this Moon and this Three of Swords and say, I've had enough of this. I need to move my life out of this scenario. Because the Four of Cups is someone who's made themselves a little bit, I don't want to use the word, it's the right word, but look at him. Look at his face, look at his, there's just nothing there. And again, he's protecting his heart, but it's maybe because these cups have not spilled. Okay, some Pisces are in a very challenging life circumstance at the moment. Okay, I'm going to do Vimeo reading. Again, guys, if it's not for you, just send blessings to whoever it's for, because they're obviously getting the message that they need. It won't be long. Bye.